Huge shoutouts to CostyPat257 on Reddit for compiling all the different sources and putting it together so I can come in and steal it. Got it. And they said Captain America the Winter Soldier music begins playing in the background. The reel starts with Wade in his new job as a used car salesman working alongside Rob Delaney's Peter. Rob Delaney and Ryan Reynolds have worked together on a lot of stuff, with Peter of course also popping up in that second film. We catch Wade sitting in the back of a car that he's trying to sell to a family, in between the family's two young kids as the parents are taking it for a test drive. Wade swears a lot, apparently describing the car, and then jokes about not having kids himself. He says, "Not that I don't want to have kids, I just don't have a lot of vaginal sex." The family, offended, leave without purchasing it, and back at the locker rooms, Peter notices that Wade keeps his Deadpool suit there. He then suggests that he goes back to superheroing, but Wade exclaims, "I'm done, and I'm fine with being done." He does admit, though, "Is this a life I always imagined for myself? F no, we're keeping it PG-13. I can totally see why he feels left in the lurch as well, as it was all the way back in 2019 that Reynolds posted his visit to Marvel Studios. Guy's been high and dry for 5 years, with him being brushed to the side in favour of Phase chore to get through. Now, some of it was good, wasn't it? Multiverse of Madness, actually quite like. One Division as well in Phase 4, so there you go. Now, the reel then cuts to Peter and Wade riding their bikes back to Wade's apartment, which he shares with Blind Al. "We're Deadpool," Peter tells him, which Wade disputes, and they see someone across the street who's there taking photos of them. They go into the apartment to see there's a big surprise party waiting for them with all of Deadpool's friends like Vanessa, Blind Al, Dopinder, Colossus, Negasonic, Yukio, and Shatterstar in attendance. I do kind of wonder if the Vanisher's there as well, but he does make a joke about the time travel shenanigans at the end of Deadpool 2. "If this was 5 years ago, you'd all be dead," he joked. Some people have said that that's to do with the snap, but it's clearly because of the events of the second film. Now Wade then makes small talk with all of them, and Shatterstar's not entertained by any of Dopinder's stories. Blind Al asks Wade about his sales, because she's getting quite impatient about waiting for money from him. She says, "I pray every day that fire finds your body and finishes the job that God didn't have the nuts to do." Wade then asks Colossus if he's been binging anything, and he says he's been watching the Great British Bake Off. Negasonic and Yukio are still together, and Blind Al wants to do coke, but Wade says coke is the one thing Feige said is off limits. Wade then catches up with Vanessa, and while they're washing dishes, she reveals she's dating a guy from work called Dermot. She then jokes that he hasn't gotten her shot yet. Wade is left sad before talking to the group, and he says it's been a challenging few years. He says, "But I'm happy, and that's because of each and every one of you, and this is about how proud I am, how grateful I am to be standing in a room with every single person I love. I'm the luckiest man alive." He then makes a wish and blows out the candle. He wishes that people would subscribe to the channel. Now, this is obviously the guy's birthday, with that stuff playing a part of the comics too. Deadpool's now 33 years old, with Rob Liefeld recently announcing that he's going to be putting the character to rest. Yes, he will be retiring him, he says so anyway, but we'll see if that happens down the line. But either way, we've had birthday issues before, with Deadpool Nerdy 30 having his birthday on the cover. That was obviously celebrating 30 years, and he was joined by several other Marvel heroes. Now, someone knocks at the door, and it's the TVA like we saw in that first trailer. The footage just kind of goes over that, and we learn the person who was taking photos before is actually the agent here to recruit him. At this point, he's then taken a Paradox at the TVA, who explains he's in charge of protecting the sacred timeline, but Deadpool's abuse of it isn't why they called him in. So that debunks their theory time, as I thought it was because of the time travel, but no, turns out they want him to be part of a greater universe. Multiple screens in the room turn on, and it shows some of the most iconic moments of the MCU. Paradox then tees up footage of Captain America on the screens, and Wade then salutes him. A clip of Thor hovering over Loki dying in Thor 2 then sees Deadpool replacing Loki, and Wade's terribly concerned and confused. He says, "Is that me?" and asks Paradox, but he says, "Nope, that happens in a distant future. So one day, cameo." Now Paradox asks, "Would you like to join a timeline that needs avenging?" This is where the whole Marvel Jesus thing happens, with a suit up and that white glove as well. Wonder if that's actually a throw into Mickey Mouse, but we do learn that he also gets some adamantium katanas. So that's basically all the stuff that was shown in the Cinemacon footage, and a huge shout out to CostyPat257 on Reddit for putting that all together. Thank you.